Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk the Marvel for the month. Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. Amazing Spider Man. Wells wrapping up his run, doing the Goblin Sins in Peter thing. Take two. The second time is better than the first, partially because they already established all the rules, so he can kind of just tell the story he wants to tell. What's weird to me is that at 54, they wrap this up, and the most controversial and weirdest thing to me is after Norman and Peter becoming friends, basically, it says this. It's a weird run. I wouldn't recommend it to a soul. Um, but the last little bit was a hair better than a lot of what preceded it. Um, Ultimately, I put it above the Spencer run, but that's it. Very skippable amounts of Spider Man. Next is Captain America 11. This is playing off some of the weird vaudeville stuff set up and playing off the idea of heroes and nationality, but putting Captain America in a different context and offering him a chance to go back and continue his life post World War II the way he intended to. Um, this is a really interesting thing. Some of it has been played on before, but compared to it being the standard Captain America run of needing to build up Steve from his past, which is where this run started. I don't know. I think it's interesting and it's moving forward. Uh, Daredevil 11, we're getting to the end of the initial part of this. Matt's back from the dead and he's dealing with sins in different characters across the Marvel Universe. We finally got to Greed and Kingpin, and we're wrapping it there. One of the biggest problems with this, it was kind of fun when we started because it was kind of Daredevil versus with an excuse to make it work and why Daredevil would win in every instance. But now we're at the point of he needs to fight Bullseye, he needs to fight Kingpin, and it's just so assumed within the story. Nothing's really earned. So it's really leaning on a lot of Daredevil's history and whatnot in a way that, having read the last several now decades of Daredevil, this is kind of sloppy compared to where the book normally is. And a lot of what the joy of Daredevil is kind of this more always grounded, gritty, and well thought out storyline. And this breaks a lot of that. It breaks a lot of the tradition of what made Daredevil considered to be one of the best books continuously. Like it or lump it, it's a bit unfortunate. Whereas Daredevil Woman Without Fear is doing a lot of that, but with Elektra as Daredevil. And this is an interesting book. It plays off of some events from the City at War book that happened recently, but was so tied up with the events, and this is letting this sing on its own. I don't know. I think it's interesting. I'm curious to see where it goes. Fantastic Four 22. This continues to be incredible. I'm pretty sure North's run of Fantastic Four is going to be considered one of the best at Marvel and certainly one of the best Fantastic Four runs ever. Um, this deals with the tie-in with vampires are attacking and takes it and makes it a character moment for Mr. Fantastic. And I don't know, it's really cool. And then you can see where it's going to move to the next issues. And I thought this was going to be a fumbling point for the book, and I was prepared to give it full carte blanche, be like, yep, this was the bad issue. Tie-in was forced on it, and then we moved past it and it got great again. This was great too. So yeah, I don't know. Uh Daredevil Wolverine wraps up. It was a tie-in book. I'm glad it's over. Wouldn't recommend it to a soul. Get Fury wraps up. This is a very kind of clandestine in the middle of war story, but kind of aside to the war is this other aspect going with Fury and Frank and whatnot. Um, it's interesting. I think of Ennis's Punisher work, this is certainly not my favorite. It's if this is your kind of thing, I think you'll really enjoy it. But if you're looking for more standard fare for either of those characters, maybe not so much. Uh, Spider Boy 9 is Spider Boy plus Spider Verse, which is just Dan Slott spinning his wheels. It's going to take a couple issues, but I'm dropping this book. This has gotten bad, and I've seen some previews. They're bringing in a Spider Girl, which A, they don't need a new Spider Girl, whatever, but B, what they're bringing in is a little like 9-year-old girl with pigtails, and I'm out. Not for me. If it's for someone else, let them enjoy it. Spectacular 5 is starting to wind down this initial arc, and this has been the best Spider book going. I am really curious to see where this goes next, and I really hope the next arcs live up to what this started with, because this is elevating both characters in a way both of their main books are not doing currently. And then DeMatteis's Shadow of the Green Goblin wraps up. This is the weakest entry I think I've seen from DeMatteis in a long time, going back to Spider-Man's origins and the Green Goblin origins and complicating it isn't helping anything. Um, Playing in Mayu, where, because the truth is, a lot of this is building off of other little additions DeMatteis has added through the years of in or around Spider-Man's origin, maybe kind of past the origin, but in the equivalent of just post year one for Batman, like early days, and adding to that mythos building and whatnot. And DeMatteis has gone and complicated a little bit, usually with some more humanistic stories that Stan Lee never would have taken the time for back in the day. And most of those were in like annuals or specials and little side bits, or maybe a bigger issue here or there to play on something. But this is going in and just needlessly making things more complicated in a way that in the end doesn't add anything, because effectively the characters can't know about any of this, otherwise it would just unravel everything or just set it in a different universe, or however you go about that. Just unneeded. um yeah, I don't know. DeMatteis has done a lot of great things, but I know he's focused on his own independent works and whatnot, and he's done other cool stuff with Spider-Man all throughout the years. I just don't think this one was it. Cheers.